Welcome back for another video. Who are the best players to buy for Gameweek 21? Let's break it down by the 4 positions and we'll look at which players are projected to do best next game week as well as the next 5 for a longer term view. Don't forget there's also the FA Cup and League Cup before next game week, so don't rush into making transfers. You've got plenty of time to sit on those moves and think what to do next, and to also ensure the players that you do own come through those games unscathed. Let's start with the keepers then. Man United at home to Southampton, which has got a Nana top of the gaming projections for the first time this season. Though I think it's fair to say the Man United defence isn't somewhere we're looking to invest. And looking at those next 5 projections, there's other keepers that look better value. Leno, Sanchez, Henderson and Verbruggen all projected similarly for cheaper. Aurora and Alisson the top 2 for more money. The projection data does have a 50% chance of a double Gameweek 24 and 50% chance of double Gameweek 25 baked into them. So it shouldn't be too long till we hear something official if it's either of those weeks. At the moment, just rumours from reliable sources that it's being considered for them. It might be after the FA Cup draw that we get the announcement. With an even longer term view beyond the next 5, Henderson looks like the best budget keeper in the game right now. Only 4.5 mil with a sea of green fixtures ahead, and a long term run that could take you all the way to his second wildcard. However, if you've used your triple captain, then Alisson's probably the best keeper right now, due to that upcoming double game week. So why the triple captain? Why is that a factor? Well, if you've used it already, then the sensible play might be to use your assistant manager chip on slot in double Gameweek 24 or 25, which does require a third Liverpool spot. If you've only got Salah as your single Liverpool asset right now, then of course you've got capacity to add Alisson, though keep in mind you're then blocking a third outfield player if you plan to use your assistant manager on slot. Besides the whole Liverpool double gaming thing, Liverpool's defence is just incredibly strong. 17.93 expected goals conceded over the season, so less than 1 XG per game. And they've moved back ahead of Arsenal just about as the number 1 defence for that metric, also number 1 for clean sheets and fewer shots conceded. The table here from Fantasy Football Scouts members area. You can make your own tables or use my ones, and get other tools like player comparison, fixture ticker tool, award-winning articles and loads more with the link below. That link also gives you 40% off. Onto the defenders next, and it's a nice mix of names and price points at the top this week. Trent does lead on 4.3 projected points, followed by Hall, who looks like an absolute gem for 4.8 mil. Newcastle have got Wolves home, and then they're home again to Bournemouth, then it's Southampton away, and then it's Fulham home. So it's a lovely block of 4 fixtures, and he's so cheap for 4.8 mil. Last game week saw the return of Botman, who did play in centre back with Shearer out suspended. So does this affect Hall with Burn an option left back? Well, given how well Hall's played, it'd be very surprising. Howe does have a soft spot for Burn, but what he provides in left back is night and day compared to Burn, so there's no reason to change what's working. The other cheap defender who's worth consideration this week is Munoz. 3.35 expected goals this season fares better than any defender in the league, and for overall XGI with assists included he ranks 3rd best. 21 shots taken this season and he faces Leicester next, who are among the worst for shots conceded. After a 15-point haul back in Gameweek 19, Trent owners are going to be fuming after that 0-pointer against Man United, perhaps his worst performance of the season. Despite all that, he can't be worth selling. I mean, the next 5 projections show just how far ahead he is, plus that potential double game week in there. Dallo comes in 3rd on the table, but look at Hall or Munoz instead for a bit cheaper. Likewise, don't buy other Palace or Newcastle defenders. Munoz and Hall are superior picks, and cheaper in some cases compared to teammates. Robinson and Castagna don't quite make the table, they're on 3.1 points this week, Colwell 3.4, Saliba 3.8, so he is tied of Timber who's here. He's back from his 1-match suspension for the North London derby. Onto the midfielders, and it's looking like captaincy is going to be an interesting discussion this week, given that Palmer actually tops the table on 7.4 points, and then it's Bruno on exactly 7, and then it's Salah on 6.6. So Palmer's home to Bournemouth, Bruno's home to Southampton, Salah's away to Forest, so you can understand why. Is it crazy to go against Salah though with the season he's having? Forest are the 3rd best defence for expected goals conceded, or joint best for clean sheets, and it was Forest who pulled the huge upset beating Liverpool at Anfield earlier in the season, keeping a clean sheet there as well. So the discussion does have some legs, but nonetheless Salah's undoubtedly going to be the most popular captain this week. He's exactly 70% owned at the time of recording. So there is a rank risk if he does well and Palmer doesn't keep pace of him. Let us know in the comments though who your captain will be. It's a great entry point to buy Bruno. Southampton just battered 5-0 by Brentford last game week, and they were playing home for that game. They're away at Old Trafford next. After Southampton, Man United are home again to Brighton, and then Fulham away, and then Palace home, then Spurs away. So it's a pretty solid block of 5 fixtures for United, and they'll take some confidence after the draw with Liverpool surely. I mean, then again, they lost 3 on the bounce after beating Man City, so who knows. If you're tight for cash, then Ahmad for 5.3 mil looks great value. Obviously scored against Liverpool. Possible Semenyo or Enzo replacement there. We might see Ødegaard back on corners on the right side with Van Nery reportedly injured, but it's not been a great few weeks for Ødegaard owners. He's a difficult sell after a home fixture against Spurs though, surely. They're missing so many players, Spurs, and the North London derby tends to produce lots of goals historically. It's a perfect week to buy Eze and Gordon as well though. They're against Leicester and Wolves respectively. Gordon has returned in his last 7 starts in a row, while Eze has returned in his last 2 in a row. If you can't afford Eze but you want a route into Palace, then Sarr's a really solid pick for 5.9 mil and 0.7 mil saving basically. He's on more points than Eze over the season after all. It's just the set pieces and possible penalties, at least definitely when Mateta's not on the pitch, that wins out for Eze. Rogers returns from suspension this week, he's projected 3.6 points, Enzo also on 3.6, Ahmad 5.0, Sarr 4.4. Lastly, what about Mbeumo then? A 19-pointer last game week, more than anyone on the weekend. But unfortunately they don't play Southampton every week. They've got Man City and Liverpool next at the opposite end of the table, so it's not a rush to buy surely. Man City not necessarily a bad fixture right now, but Liverpool certainly very bad. So game week 23 could be the entry point to wait for. From then they've got Palace, Spurs, West Ham, Leicester and Everton. That's my loose plan currently anyway, to sell Ødegaard. It feels like buying now could be chasing last week's points. Moving on to the forwards then, and Isak comes out on top this week with 7.2 points against Wolves, and then Haaland 6.7, João Pedro 5.4, and Jesus 5.2, Mateta just behind 4.8 as well. If you're looking for a huge differential, then Mateta at 3% ownership's got to be worth consideration. I like him a lot more than Jesus given his nailedness and better minutes on the pitch. What's slightly surprising though is João Pedro and Mateta being on exactly the same projected points for the next 5, which does suggest João Pedro is the more sensible pick if you haven't got him, for the considerable saving there, 1.5 mil cheaper. Wood is someone to keep on your radar though if you've not got him. It is Liverpool home next game week of course, so he doesn't make the table. But after that, Forest have got Southampton home themselves, and then it's Bournemouth, Brighton and Fulham. It's Jackson that's the real headache. We talked about him in the transfer plans video on Sunday. Just 1 goal in his last 6 games, no assists, but he's still got a couple of good fixtures to come, so it doesn't look like he's a sell just yet perhaps. Bournemouth and Wolves is next 2, both at Stamford Bridge. However, if you've had enough of him, then fair enough. Isak, João Pedro and Mateta, all great replacements. It's very easy to afford a front 7 of penalty takers right now, which of course does give you tons of extra goals over the season. Is it a boring way of playing or is it sensible? So you could go like Salah, Palmer, Bruno and Mbeumo, Isak, João Pedro, Wood and Mateta, etc. Just pick 7 of those. The forgotten man Cunha, of course, and Pens as well. He's back for game week 21. He doesn't make the table of course, given they are away to Newcastle, but he's on 3.5 points. If this video was helpful, then drop it a like before you go and make sure you're subscribed. There's more FPL content to come before Game Week 21. See you soon for the next one.